everyone! Welcome back to English Flow Club. I'm your host, and today we have an amazing story to share with you.
Hey there, everyone. Great to be here with you again. I've been thinking a lot about neighbors lately. Those people who live right next to us, but we sometimes barely know.
Oh, that's so true. I have to admit, I don't really know my neighbors very well, laughs. I mean, we wave at each other, maybe say good morning, but that's about it.
Exactly. And that's actually what today's story is all about. We're going to tell you about Emma and Mrs. Chen, two neighbors whose lives changed completely because of, well, a garden.
Ooh, a mysterious garden. I love stories like this. Before we dive in, though, let me just say, if you're new to English Flow Club, welcome! And if you're a regular listener, thank you so much for coming back.
Yes! And remember, we love hearing from you. So after today's episode, leave us a comment and tell us, do you know your neighbors? Have you ever had an unexpected friendship develop with someone you barely knew?
All right, I'm ready for this story. Set the scene for us.
Okay, so picture this. It's a sunny Saturday morning, and Emma is unpacking boxes in her brand new apartment. She had just moved to Maple Street. One of those charming neighborhoods with old trees and houses that each have their own personality.
Oh, I love those kinds of neighborhoods. The ones where every house tells a story.
Exactly. And Emma was super excited, but also, well, sighs a little nervous. I mean, it was her first time living completely on her own.
Ah, that mix of excitement and nerves. I totally get that. Been there.
Right? So she's unpacking, trying to make this new place feel like home, when she looks out her kitchen window and sees, dramatic pause, the most intriguing garden she'd ever seen.
Oh, intriguing how?
Well, imagine this. Rose bushes that had grown completely wild, ivy covering an old wooden fence, stone pathways that seemed to lead nowhere. It was like something out of a fairy tale, but a forgotten one.
That sounds both beautiful and mysterious. Kind of sad, too, right? Like it was once cared for but had been abandoned?
Exactly, that feeling. And Emma, she couldn't stop looking at it. Every morning with her coffee, she'd stand at that window and wonder, who lives there? What's the story behind this garden?
I would do the same thing, chuckles. I'm so curious about these kinds of mysteries.
Well, Emma was about to find out. So get this. For 2 whole weeks, Emma never saw anyone, not a single person coming or going from that blue Victorian house next door.
2 weeks? Wow! That would make me even more curious.
Right? But then one afternoon, and this is where it gets interesting, Emma was out on her little balcony watering her plants when she heard this voice.
Leans in? A voice?
Just like that. Very polite, very gentle.
Ooh, I'm getting goosebumps. Who was it?
Emma looked down, and there was this elderly Chinese woman standing by the garden gate. Silver hair and a neat bun, wearing a floral dress and gardening gloves.
Ah, the mystery neighbor appears.
Laughs. Exactly. And she introduced herself as Mrs. Chen. She welcomed Emma to the neighborhood very warmly.
That's so nice. I love when neighbors do that.
But here's the thing. When Emma complimented the garden, saying how intriguing it looked from above, Mrs. Chen's whole expression changed.
Changed how?
She got this distant, almost sad look and said, "It used to be quite different." And then, and this surprised Emma, she asked if Emma would like to see it up close sometime.
Wow, that's quite the invitation. I bet Emma was curious, right?
Oh, she was practically buzzing with curiosity. And guess what? The very next evening, Emma knocked on Mrs. Chen's door. She even brought a little pot of petunias as a gift.
Oh, that's sweet. Good first impression move.
Mrs. Chen was so touched by that gesture, And then she led Emma through this wooden gate into the garden and pauses dramatically.
And?
And even overgrown and wild, it was absolutely magical. Stone pathways winding everywhere, a fountain in the center, not working, but still beautiful, and these climbing roses that had grown all over this old pergola.
It sounds like a secret garden from a novel.
That's exactly what Emma thought. But then, Mrs. Chen started telling her the story behind it.
Ooh, here comes the backstory. I'm ready.
So, Mrs. Chen and her husband Robert had built this garden together over 30 years. Every weekend, planning new sections, choosing flowers for different seasons.
30 years. That's a lifetime of love right there.
Exactly. She called it their little paradise. But then, the voice gets quieter. Robert passed away 5 years ago.
Oh, no.
And Mrs. Chen said she just couldn't bring herself to maintain it properly anymore. It was too painful to be out there alone, surrounded by all those memories.
That's heartbreaking, but so understandable. Sometimes the places we loved most with someone become the hardest places to be without them.
You said that beautifully. And that's exactly how Mrs. Chen felt. But here's where Emma really surprised me.
What did she do?
She looked at Mrs. Chen and said, "I don't know much about gardening, but I'd love to learn. Would you consider teaching me? Maybe we could work on the garden together."
Impressed. Wow, that's such a beautiful offer, but also kind of brave, right? I mean, they barely knew each other.
Exactly. And Mrs. Chen was shocked. She was like, "Oh dear, I couldn't ask you to do that. You're young. You must have better things to do."
Chuckles. Classic response from someone who doesn't want to be a burden.
But Emma said something that really got to Mrs. Chen. She said, "Actually, I've always wanted to learn about plants. And to be honest, I've been feeling a bit lonely in my new place. It would mean a lot to me to have a project to work on with a friend."
Oh, that word friend, I bet that hit Mrs. Chen right in the heart.
It did. Mrs. Chen's eyes actually welled up when Emma said that.
That's so touching. Sometimes we don't realize how much we need connection until someone offers it.
And Mrs. Chen, with this growing smile, said, "Well, if you're sure you want to learn about getting your hands dirty."
I love her sense of humor. So they decided to work together?
They did. Every evening after Emma finished work at the local bookstore, they'd meet in the garden, and oh my goodness, the things Mrs. Chen taught her.
Like what?
Different types of soil, how to prune roses properly, which flowers bloom when. But my favorite lesson was about companion planting.
Companion planting. What's that?
It's when certain flowers and vegetables grow better when planted near each other. And Mrs. Chen said, imitating Mrs. Chen's voice, "Like friends, they help each other thrive."
That's such a perfect metaphor. And probably exactly what was happening between Emma and Mrs. Chen, too.
Exactly. And as they worked, Mrs. Chen started sharing her life stories about coming to America as a young bride, learning English while working at a laundromat, building a life in a new country.
That must have been so challenging.
It was, but here's a sweet detail. She met Robert at that laundromat.
No way. Really?
Yes, she said he came in every Tuesday with his work clothes, and she thought he was the messiest man she'd ever seen.
That's hilarious. But something made her notice him, right?
He always said please and thank you, and he never got frustrated when she struggled with English words.
See, that's how you know someone's character right there. But I have a feeling there's more to this garden story.
Oh, there definitely is. So, one day in November, Mrs. Chen showed Emma a part of the garden she had never seen before.
Intrigued. A secret section?
Behind a large lilac bush, there was this small stone bench, and in front of it, one perfectly maintained rose bush with a single red rose still blooming.
Even though the rest of the garden was overgrown?
Even though. And there was a little metal plaque that read, "For Robert, who taught me that love grows in every season."
Moved. Oh my goodness. Pauses. That's beautiful and heartbreaking at the same time.
Mrs. Chen admitted she'd been taking care of just that one rose bush the whole time. Even when she couldn't manage the rest of the garden, she couldn't let that one go.
Understanding. That was her way of staying connected to him.
Exactly. And Emma finally understood why the garden had been so hard for Mrs. Chen to maintain. It wasn't just about the work.
It was about the memories, both the beautiful ones and the painful ones.
You get it. So, during the winter months, Emma kept visiting Mrs. Chen regularly. They'd sit in the warm kitchen, looking through seed catalogs, planning what to plant in spring.
That sounds so cozy. Like they were nurturing their friendship while planning to nurture the garden.
Yes, and when March came, something magical happened. The garden started waking up.
The daffodils they planted in October?
Exactly. And you should have seen Mrs. Chen when those first green shoots appeared. She was practically glowing with excitement.
Warmly. I bet she was like a kid on Christmas morning.
Exactly. She called Emma over. "Look, Emma, the tulips are coming up." Just so animated and happy.
That's when you know the garden was healing her heart too.
And that's when Mrs. Chen said something really profound. She said, "I thought this garden died when Robert did, but working with you has taught me something important.
Leaning in, which was?
Gardens don't really die. They just wait. They wait for someone to believe in them again, to give them love and attention. Just like people, I suppose."
Moved. Wow. Pauses. That's actually profound about life in general, isn't it?
Right? Sometimes we think things are dead or lost forever, but maybe they're just waiting for the right moment, the right person, the right care.
So by spring, was the garden restored?
Well, not exactly restored. It was transformed into something new. Emma added some modern touches like a vegetable section and colorful annuals, while Mrs. Chen worked on the classic parts, the perennial beds, the herb garden. They even got the fountain working again.
Laughs. How did they manage that?
Emma's handy neighbor from across the street, which brings me to the best part.
There's more?
Mrs. Chen started hosting garden parties, just simple afternoons where neighbors could enjoy the flowers and get to know each other.
Delighted. So the garden became a community gathering place?
Yes, and Emma discovered their street was full of interesting people who had been strangers until the garden brought them together.
That's the most beautiful kind of ripple effect.
And at the end of our story, Emma and Mrs. Chen are sitting on Robert's bench watching the sunset. Emma says, "When I first moved here, I thought I was just renting an apartment. I never imagined I'd find a garden, and a friend, and a whole community."
Warmly. And what did Mrs. Chen say?
She patted Emma's hand and said, "Robert always said that the best gardens are the ones that grow relationships, not just flowers. I think he would be very happy to see how much this garden has grown."
Sighs contentedly. What a perfect ending. Though, really, it sounds more like a beautiful beginning, doesn't it?
Upbeat. Exactly. And that was quite a journey. What did you think?
Enthusiastic. Oh, I loved it. But you know what struck me most? How a simple act of kindness, just offering to help, changed everything.
Right? Emma could have just admired the garden from her window forever, but she chose to reach out.
And I keep thinking about what you said earlier, that Mrs. Chen felt it was too painful to work in the garden alone. But with Emma there, it became healing instead of painful.
That's such a good point. Sometimes we avoid things that hurt, but maybe what we really need is someone to share the experience with.
Exactly. And our listeners, I'm curious about their experiences. Have any of you had a neighbor who surprised you? Or maybe you were the one who reached out first?
Oh, good question. And here's another one. Mrs. Chen said, "Gardens don't really die, they just wait."
What do you think about that? What in your life might be waiting for attention?
That's deep. Maybe a hobby you gave up, a friendship that faded, a dream you put on hold.
Or even just getting to know the people around you. I'm realizing how many Mrs. Chens might be living right next to us.
Right? We could all be missing out on incredible friendships just because we haven't knocked on the right door yet.
And you know what I love about Emma? She didn't just offer help. She was honest about needing something too. She admitted she was lonely and wanted to learn.
That's so important. Real connection happens when both people benefit, when it's mutual.
Well, everyone, what a beautiful story to share with you today on English Flow Club.
It really was. And I hope Emma and Mrs. Chen's story inspires you to look a little differently at your neighborhood.
Maybe there's a mysterious garden waiting to be discovered, or a neighbor with stories to tell, or even just someone who could use a friend.
And remember, it doesn't have to be dramatic. It could be as simple as bringing someone flowers, offering to help with groceries, or just taking the time to have a real conversation instead of just saying hi.
Though I have to say, if you find a mysterious garden, definitely let us know. We want to hear that story.
Giggling, yes, we love hearing from you. Tell us about your neighbors, your community, any unexpected friendships you've discovered.
And if today's story made you think of someone you should reach out to, maybe do it. You never know what beautiful thing might grow from that simple gesture.
Just like Mrs. Chen said, sometimes the best gardens are the ones that grow relationships, not just flowers.
What a perfect way to end today's episode. Thank you all for listening to English Flow Club.
We'll be back next week with another story that reminds us how connected we all are. Until then, take care of yourselves.
And maybe take care of a neighbor too.
Laughs. I love that. Before we go, let me ask our listeners, do you know your neighbors well? Why or why not? Have you ever had an unexpected friendship develop? And what does "gardens don't really die, they just wait" mean to you?
Such great questions. And remember, whether it's learning about companion planting where flowers help each other thrive, or discovering that sometimes communities grow stronger when we take time to know each other's stories, there's always something beautiful waiting to be discovered.
Absolutely. So here's your challenge this week. Try to notice something about your neighborhood or community that you've never paid attention to before. Maybe it's a neighbor you've never spoken to, or a local place that has a story to tell.
You never know what mysterious gardens, literal or metaphorical, might be waiting to be discovered right next door.
Bye, everyone.
See you next time on English Flow Club.